And then luckily, a friend didn't know my plight, but he flew over in his Cessna, and he made up a parachute and threw it out the window, and it contained a barrel of beer. So, anyway, that was background to that story. But the book I'm going to work on now is no title as yet, but that's kayaking from Gonzaga to La Paz and reliving a lot of the hike I did back in the 80s.
So, Graham, how old are you today?
Oh, well in my 60s.
Yeah. I mean, I was just thinking. I mean, if you were 30 when you started your first adventure, you got to be in that 60 range. So,
yeah, upper 60s now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, my health has been good, and I can still walk and I can still kayak. And as I got older, I realized I couldn't carry a 70 pounds or 60 pounds on my back. So I got the burro, and then, I thought, well, I got the kayak, and with the kayak I can carry 500 pounds on it. So a lot of changes, but just keep going. I'm still in one piece, still surviving, and still reasonably fit.
You're probably healthier than most 30-year-olds are today.
Well, if I don't drink too much beer and hit the lobsters.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned the books are in ebook form now. So what's the best way to get those? What's the best way for you to get those in people's hands? How do you make the most money?
Oh, well, I've got beyond making money now. I've retired. But the ebook is available on Amazon and Nook. If anybody just searches, you'll see them instantly. And there are books on, again, Amazon. You can probably buy plenty of used copies of all 4 of my published books.
Okay. Well, man, I feel like I could go on forever talking to you. I feel like we're just barely scratching the surface of so many possible stories. And I do understand that you do lectures or talks. Is that something that's scheduled and regular? Is it something that is only every once in a while? If we wanted to hear you speak, how do we find you when you're doing that?
Oh, I used to be a lot more out there. I enjoy giving talks because it is fun to share. My slides are so dramatic, especially from that first trip. But all of the trips are great slides. I love sharing it and sharing the experiences. And I used to give a lot of lectures. I've probably given, I don't know, close to 1,000 lectures in my career. But now, just occasionally, I don't go looking for them, but if I just did a Rotary the other day in San Diego, and last lecture I gave down here near La Mission, maybe 50 or 60 people turned up for that, and that was fun. We had a wine tasting and everything, so it was a good evening. But I'm real happy to talk about my trips, to show my slides, give a PowerPoint, and my email, I don't know if I can give this, but...
Absolutely.
Okay, it's Baja Detour at... Baja Detour at AOL.com, yeah.
That's Baja Detour at AOL.com, and I'll put that in the show notes for anybody listening that wants to find you.
Okay.
Graham, I got to tell you, I like I said, I wish we could just continue this conversation. What I'd like to ask you is if maybe in a month, 2 months, I want to actually do some real research, read some of your books. I have to believe that after reading a book or two of yours that I could come up with a whole bunch of very pointed questions, and would love to have another chat with you at some time here in the near future. Would you agree to that?
Oh, absolutely. Now we've figured out Skype. I don't have to sign up to it 2 minutes before the talk. But now we figured it out. It's there and ready. I'll be real happy to.
Wonderful. Well, Graham, I really appreciate the time you dedicated to this. I look forward to sharing it with the listeners. And my mind is spinning right now of the different possibilities of spending time with you and hearing your stories. I am a absolute fellow lover of Baja, and I have a massive group of friends that feel and think the same way. And I'm almost embarrassed and ashamed to say that I had not heard or met you up until now. but hey, things are what they are. Do you know a guy named, he's passed away, but he was the Grinning Gargoyle, Jimmy Smith?
I have his book. I know of him. Yeah, I met him a couple of times briefly, yeah.
So I believe he's passed away.
Yeah, I believe so.
But somebody gave me his book, and I read it, and then I ran into him at the Serenidad in Mulegé one time.
Uh-huh.
And there's a whole story that spins off of that I'd share with you sometime. But
anyways,
I'm fascinated in talking with people that have found a way to make the peninsula a part of their life, or to weave it into their DNA, or just recognize that it already was woven into their DNA. So,
well,
I thank you for...
Somebody should interview you, Ryan. It sounds like you've got some amazing experiences in Baja, too.
Well, maybe we'll have a dinner party sometime. I mean, we'll call it the Baja Chats or something. Who knows?
Sounds good.
Well, Graham, thank you for your time. This has been another episode of the Baja Sessions, and this is Graham Mackintosh, the man famous for walking around the Baja Peninsula and other exploits. I will put information about Graham and how to find his stuff in the show notes for this show. Graham, do you have any parting words of wisdom for anybody listening here?
No, just if you do a great trip, make sure you prepare, and you'll probably come back and enjoy that beer when you get back.
You know what? I'm forgetting. I do have one question to ask you that I try to ask every guest, and you're very well suited to answer this, hopefully. Best taco in Baja, where is it?
Wow. Best taco in Baja. Man, I know so many. And I've had so many tacos that have been delicious in fish camps. Well, you know what? I have to give La Misión a plug. Taco Tuesday down the hill in a restaurant bar called Magana's. $1 tacos down there.
There you go.
They're pretty
there
good.
You go.
A couple of those is a meal.
Wonderful. Well, Graham, again, this is the Baja Sessions. Thanks for being on it, and we're going to sign off until next week.
Thank you, Ryan.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to check out thebahamap.com if you'd be interested in owning a leather-bound 60-inch canvas map of the Baja Peninsula. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Baja Sessions. We'll be back next week to chat with another Baja brother or sister. And until then, Viva Baja!
This episode of The Answer is Yes Baja Sessions is brought to you by Baja Bound Insurance Services. Driving to Mexico? You can buy and print out your Mexican auto insurance policy online in minutes with their easy-to-use website. They also have great travel information to help you plan your trip south of the border. Visit bajabound.com.